Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I am Serena if you happen to be new here. I'm also Coffee and Goodreads over on Instagram, so make sure you go check out my page because that's where I post all of my reviews, book content, coffee content, basically same thing as here except it's all short form content. So as you can see from the title of today's video, I read 14 books, could potentially be 15 books in January. I think this is like a new all-time record for me as far as like getting back into reading and having this many books in a month. Typically my month is not like this. I usually average around 7 to 8 books a month, but this month just happened to be a big reading month for me and I'm not mad about it. So we have a lot of different books here. We have physical books, audio books, that's literally it, physical books and audiobooks. So let's go through them. I'm not going to be doing these in any particular order. I don't even remember like the order that I read these in. It's just that I know I read all of them. Some of them I did audio and physical. Some of them I just did physical. Some of them I just did audio. So let's get started. I'm going to be giving you my rating. So star rating. I'll give you a little bit of information about what it's about. I'll read the back of the cover and just like my overall thoughts on them. The first book that I have in my pile here, it's just again super random, is True Biz by Sarah Novick. I gave this book, I'm gonna pull up my star rating real quick.
Because I'm not gonna remember all of these off the top of my head. Probably should have done this before starting the video. Let's see. Okay.
I gave this 4 stars. I listened to the audio and went through the physical book, so I kind of did like a little tandem read. I highly recommend the audio for this. I thought it was so good. It added so much to the story because there are parts in the book where the author actually signs the conversation and she puts like her, I guess she inserts her own audio like that you would hear as she's signing. So I thought that was really cool. This definitely opens your eyes to deaf culture and just the world and that community as a whole. And there's a lot of things in here that I definitely was not aware of. I thought this was really, although it is a fiction read, it was definitely educational and you learn a lot from reading this book. I took sign language in college, so I was like, oh yeah, I remember learning about that. Oh yeah, I remember that sign or that sign. So definitely recommend if you are looking to diversify your reading. This is definitely a good one. So well written. I love the story. The overall plot is multiple POV, so multiple different characters having different points of views in this book. So that was definitely added points for me also, was that. And yeah, overall, definitely enjoyed it. It also was a book of the month pick, as you can see up here. One of my goals for the year is to finish up my entire book of the month backlist, so this helped me with that. The next book that I read, which was totally random, I on the fly joined a thrillers only book club. So they were reading A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. I almost said Willingham. So they were reading this one. I mostly did the audio for this book. I did not really open the physical book. Towards the end I did when I was doing the listening and reading, but this was majority audio and it was also really good as an audio book. I gave this one 4 stars. I definitely did not see a lot of the twists and turns coming for the last probably 40% of this book. I thought it wrapped up nicely. I didn't feel like it was rushed or anything. I definitely was trying to predict it, probably from like 30% all the way up to about 75%, and then once things were revealed, I was like, okay, like wow, I didn't see this coming, but it did make sense when you look back at all the clues that were dropped throughout the story. Oh, I didn't read the back of True Biz, but I basically told you what it's about. So Flicker in the Dark, I'll just give you a little bit from the inside cover. It says, when Chloe Davis was 12, 6 teenage girls went missing in her small Louisiana town. By the end of the summer, her own father had confessed to the crimes and was put away for life, leaving Chloe and the rest of her family to grapple with the truth and try to move forward while dealing with the aftermath. Now, 20 years later, Chloe's a psychologist in Baton Rouge and getting ready for her wedding when she finally has a fragile grasp on the happiness she worked so hard to achieve. She sometimes feels as out of control of her own life as the troubled teens who are her patients. So, when a local teenage girl goes missing, and then another, that terrifying summer comes crashing back. Is she paranoid, seeing parallels from her past that aren't actually there? Or for the second time in her life, is Chloe about to unmask a killer? So from the prologue, I was literally 100% gripped into this one. I never really found it to be super boring. There were some parts where I'm like, okay, like there's maybe a little bit of a lull in the plot, but we almost needed that to build up to the craziness that happens in most thrillers in the last like 50 to 75% of the book. So 4 stars, really good. I haven't found a good thriller. I have been saying this for a while, since I read Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, where you're just like completely thrown major curveballs. Well, this wasn't like super major as far as curveballs go. I definitely was caught off guard, so that added some brownie points for that. So I'll definitely be recommending this going forward. Next, we have one of the books that won for the book club that I run, and it's In 5 Years by Rebecca Serrell. This was another tandem read for me. I did the audiobook and a physical book. I gave it 3 stars. I went into this book with no expectations. I really didn't know what it was about. I do that typically for basically every single book that I know of, unless I see stuff online. I try not to look at spoilers or anything like that. This is about 2 friends. The one girl, her name's Danny. She's really into data and analytics and numbers. I actually think I talked about this book in one of my reading vlogs, so if you really want more of an in-depth about this and my reactions, you can go watch one of my previous ones. It's about the girl Danny. She has a dream of her life and what it's going to be like in 5 years, and then the dream comes to fruition. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It's pretty sad, to be quite honest. There was more that I wanted out of this book. It's very short. I think it's like 270 pages. Not even. 251 pages. So it's a quick read. If you're looking for like a quick one-sitter, you could definitely finish this in a day. Yeah, that's all I have to say on this one. Again, if you want a more in-depth review and about, you can go watch my reading vlog on that. But I basically just told you guys what it was about anyway, so there you go. Next, I feel like I read this book 3 months ago, but it really has not been that long. I read it at the beginning of the month. It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. This is another one that was in one of my first reading vlogs that I posted on this channel. I listened to majority of the audio. I think I did all audio actually. I don't remember opening this very often, if at all, which is fine. I find at audiobooks when I get busy doing cup orders and wholesale orders, that's what gets me through and that's what gets me reading. So yeah, a lot of these I did audio. This is part 2, if you have not heard somehow, to It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, and that is also becoming a movie. So definitely read that one, but check your trigger warnings on that one, because that one's definitely like a little bit deeper and darker, and there's just some topics in there that you might want to look at before you read it. And then this is part 2 to that, so I'm not really gonna read the back or anything because I don't want to spoil some things that happen in book 1. I did give this one 3 stars. I thought I gave it 4 on Instagram, but I guess. So I gave this one 3 stars. I think I wanted to give it 3.5 actually on my other platforms that I review on. I gave it 3.5. Overall, did like this one better than It Ends With Us. I think because the main male character from It Ends With Us is not really in It Starts With Us, which I was definitely happy to see. And I think that made the story more enjoyable overall. That's that one. Next, we have another book club read. I actually just finished this a couple days ago. Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. I gave this 3.5 stars. Maybe this is what I was thinking of before. This was really cute. It takes place in New York and they go to NYU, and it's a kind of strangers to friends to lovers type of situation that happens. I definitely think this is a little long for my liking. I think it could have been wrapped up sooner. It was just over 300 pages, maybe like 304, 303. But anyway, that's besides the point. It was cute. I definitely, like I said, think it could have wrapped up a little bit quicker, but also just a solid, fast-paced romance until the end. I felt like the end kind of was dragged out. So definitely check this one out. The about, like the back, is just an excerpt from the book, so it doesn't really do it justice. If you want more in-depth information about what this book is about, just check out like Goodreads or Storygraph or something like that. Next, we have a YA thriller, 5 Total Strangers by Natalie D. Richards. This I gave 4 stars. I definitely liked the premise of this, and I thought it was such a fast-paced thriller when I listened to it. It's about these 5 total strangers that come together, rent a car, try to get home for Christmas. It actually could pass as a Christmas read, but more like winter-y, I guess. And then it's more of a whodunit situation. If you are into a closed-door thriller mystery where it's not super like gruesome or gory or spooky or anything like that, this is definitely the book for you. Definitely recommend, especially for if you are a seasonal reader, like if you like to read summer books in the summer and winter books in the winter. That's definitely one to read in the winter. Next, we have The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I ate this book up. It was so good. Our main character, Jess, is a data analyst, I think, is her title. And she's a freelance data analyst. She is a single mom. She and her best friend work in this coffee shop, and there's this guy that comes in every single day. He's a super grump, and he just started this company that apparently matches you, or could potentially match you with your soulmate based on your genetic makeup and like biological stuff. I don't really know how to explain it, but this is so good. I love the STEM representation. I just loved all the research that went into this book to make it come alive. I thought Christina Lauren did a fantastic job. I gave this 4.5 stars. The only reason why I knocked it down is because it is in third person, and I am not the biggest fan of third person. I try as hard as I can to look past that, and I was able to do that with this book. I got to about 30% and I was like, oh my goodness, like I love this. Like this is so good. So definitely recommend. I don't remember off the top of my head right now, but I think it's dual narrators. So you get 2 narrators. You get the guy's perspective and his voice, and then Jess's voice. So I think it could have just been one narrator now that I think about it. I don't know, but definitely check this one out. Read it, listen to the audiobook. Christina Lauren's just fantastic. So I tend to recommend everything that they write together. If you have been following me on Instagram, I haven't posted about these books in a little while because I read them at the beginning of the month, but I had to prioritize some other books before moving forward with the series. But it is the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. I read these books at the beginning of the month. I really wanted to read book 3, but I had to prioritize my book club books and just some other books that I had to read before jumping back into this series. And oh my goodness, I miss these characters so much. I cannot wait to start the score and the goal. And I think the legacy is the last one, but I'm starting the next 2 books this week. I'm so excited because now we have a new month and I just cannot wait. You guys will see my February TBR later this week, and I'll be talking all about those books and probably fangirling over them again. These 2 books got me into tabbing, and I think all the rest of these books that I have read this month are tabbed because they were just so good. I think they're all my 5-star reads too. Yeah, they are all my 5-star reads. So I guess I went in some sort of order here. So good. Please read this series. I know everybody says that book 1 is like the only good book in the series, but John Logan, I ate this up. Like, so good. Please read. And 5 stars, obviously. There's a whole bunch of different couples that it goes through. So you'll see the characters in the first book, also in the second book, in the third book, like, and so on and so on. They're all hockey players, and the girls range from musicians to just your typical college girl to, I don't know about the other books, but that's the first 2 that I've read so far, so I can tell you that much about the girls. Each book apparently is a different trope, but I didn't really find that with this. Like, between these 2, I just thought that they were similar, but not the same. The series as a whole just tackles a whole bunch of different personalities and issues and like mental health things, and it's just really amazing. 5 stars. I cannot talk about these books enough. Like, I'm probably gonna make a whole video once I finish the series just about these books. Next, we have November 9 by Colleen Hoover, and this is a book that if you watch any of my previous reading vlogs, I think it's the first or second one, you will see my raw, genuine reactions to reading this. It's actually also my most tabbed book so far. I think so. One of these other books is also extremely tabbed, but it's also bigger, so it just looks like it's more tabbed. This, so good, 5 stars. It is about Fallon and Ben. Maybe I'll just read the back because the back doesn't give away too much. Yeah. So it says Fallon meets Ben, an aspiring novelist. The day before her scheduled cross-country move, their untimely attraction leads to them spending Fallon's last day in LA together, and her eventful life becomes the creative inspiration for Ben has always sought for in his novels. Over time and amidst the various relationships and tribulations of their own separate lives, they continue to meet on the same day every year, until one day Fallon becomes unsure if Ben has been telling her the truth or fabricating a perfect reality for the sake of the ultimate plot twist. So that's this book. And I will definitely tell you there are plot twists. Do yourself a favor and read this. So good. I think it's also dual narrator if you listen to the audiobook, but I highly recommend audio and actually reading this. And as you can see, tabbing it. There's a whole bunch of quotes in here that I'm just like obsessed with, and I think still this is my favorite Colleen Hoover book. Ugly Love is like a very close second, but this one has my heart. Next, another one that, my dog is awake now. Another one that has my heart completely and utterly tied is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. And I am so distracted by this dog. He just got up. I started listening to the audio of this book and I read like the last 100 pages or so just because I needed to inhale this and I forget where I was and I had the book with me. I'm like, whatever, I'll just read it. I already want to read this book and tab the rest of it. Like, I'm so mad I didn't stop the audio and tab as I went because this book is so good. So good. I love the little bits of magic and like personal life that Abby throws in her books. Like, I'm on a first name basis with her. And I already have 3 more books up on my shelf that I want to read by her because her writing is just so good. Yeah, it's easy to read, but it's so gripping that you just feel like you're watching a movie reading her books. And I had a vivid movie setting, like just playing in my head the entire time listening to and reading this book, and it was just amazing. 5 stars. I think I said that already. The back of it says, after a wild bet, gourmet grilled cheese sandwich, and a cuddle with a baby goat, Alex Montgomery has her world turned upside down. The cause, Daniel Grant, a ridiculously hot carpenter who's 10 years younger than her and as casual as they come. The complete opposite of sophisticated city girl Alexis. And yet the chemistry is undeniable. I loved the small town romance, like the big city to small town romance, the complete opposites attract that this book presents. So good. Highly recommend. Please move it up on your TBR if it is not already at the top. The last 2 books that I have, one of them is an audiobook that I don't own. It's Beach Read by Emily Henry. I gave that 4 stars. I just realized I forgot to talk about it because I don't own it. And I do have to say that is definitely my favorite Emily Henry book so far. And now I've read everything that she's published so far except Happy Place, but it's not like officially published yet. So I do have to say Beach Read is my favorite. Augustus Everett, 10 out of 10. Really good. Definitely read it. Again, that's another one that you should move up on your TBR if you haven't read it yet. It was amazing. Beach setting, authors. Emily Henry is just known for writing books about books. So if you are into that, I would definitely suggest giving it a read. The last book that I have here that I will be finished with by the end of the month, I am currently not finished with it yet, is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. Again, another one that I have been tabbing, and I'm going back and forth between my Kindle and the physical book, which is why there are some giant gaps in tabs here because I highlighted over there. I just haven't transferred it over here yet. We need to take a second and talk about this. If you are into Gossip Girl, high society, lots of drama, toxic relationships, if that's like you enjoy reading about those things, not saying that you're like endorsing them. I'm not endorsing this. I'm just saying this is like what I'm reading about. Go into this book with a purely entertainment mindset. It's so much more than just a romance or romances, like lots of relationships and things happening in this book. Just go into it with entertainment, and I highly recommend it. Like this writing style is definitely different than your typical writing. Like, I mean, at least for me, for my typical picks, like this is definitely different. It took me a little while to get used to the writing, but it is so good. You're like literally in their brains. The metaphors and just the way that Jessa Hastings writes is so good. I am having a very hard time putting this down now that I'm in the last, I think I'm in the last like 15%. Like I only have a little bit left in here. But once I got to like the 20 or 30% mark, I was gripped. 100%. Like there's just no putting this down. Once you start it, you don't stop. But I can definitely see, I know this is definitely like people love it or people hate it. I can see why people don't like it. These characters are very either lovable or hateable, and there's just no in between whatsoever. So I'm enjoying it. I think it's great, but I don't stand by the things that happen in this book. I just want to put that out there. Like, I'm not saying I support it, but from just an outside view looking in, take it as fiction. It's a book. So this is definitely going to be a 5 stars. I, again, have like 60 pages left. Yeah, I literally have 60 pages left. So I'm wrapping this up today. I have time later today that I'm gonna be reading this. I only need like another hour or so to read 60 pages. So yeah, I'm excited. So this is the last book. I am also listening to The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I should, fingers crossed, have it done by tomorrow. It's just that I have not listened to enough of the story yet to give you my like rating and what it's about and all that stuff. But if I had to make a prediction, it's probably going to be another 4 stars, maybe even 4.5. I'm not minding. Is this book in third person? Now I'm like, wait, I don't think it is. There's just so much dialogue and things happening in this book that there's really not space for narration. So I haven't even noticed whether it's in third person or not. That's interesting. If I had to predict, it's probably going to be 4 stars or 4.5 stars. So far I'm enjoying it. I'm curious to see where this goes because we get fake dating. I don't want to say like our main characters are grumps, but they just don't like each other. And it's kind of like when you're little and your teacher tells you that when boys pick on you, it means they like you. Like this is kind of that vibe. I'm enjoying it. You'll see it on my Instagram page soon. Once I finish it and review it, it won't be in this video though. So that puts me at 14 books for this month, which is nuts. And I have enjoyed every single one of them. Just a lot of great books read this month, and I'm excited for February. And you'll see my TBR in a couple of days and what I'm planning on reading and listening to. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You know all the YouTube things to do at this point. And turn on notifications so you never miss a video with me. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.